Welcome to the Radio Freaks at radiofreaks.tv. Now part of the Misfits Network. Available at themisfitsnetwork.com.
Initialize sequence now.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your safety belts, because it's time for the Radio Freaks.
Forget it, Mike. Without actually seeing his ass, this is just radio.
Hello, freaks.
Russian roulette is bareback sex with 6 chicks and one of them has AIDS.
That's like telling a girl, oh, I got a really cool friend I want you to meet, and bringing the fucking Asian from Pretty in Pink in the room. Fucking loser.
He said, I can smell your cunt.
I heard him on before. When he picked up the phone, I'm like, oh, it's Dr. Steve.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Ooh, Hustler Magazine. I finally get to see what a vagina looks. Oh, God! Oh, my God!
I'm a horrible fucking human being. I'm seriously going to hell.
And any guest you can get on this show, you should consider a special guest.
It's like having the world's biggest wine cooler and no girls from New Jersey.
We're giving away a Brie Olson vibrator in pink. And
are you guys also giving away AA batteries? Because I forgot to bring mine and I could really use those right now.
Is that supposed to be sexy?
I wish I had a brick wall down here in the studio, because my head would like to introduce itself to it right now.
Brian, why does everything you touch turn to garbage?
We're completely just fucking self-destructing. Welcome to the Radio Freaks, radiofreaks.tv. Another great week of podcasting goodness right here for you on your favorite podcast, the Radio Freaks. I'm Brian, along with my pal, Antonio.
What up?
Was that your Spanish impersonation or your Italian impersonation? What up?
I gotta keep that faux hip-hop thing you said I got going on.
Yeah, you really are a fucking dirty hip-hop hipster. You fake.
Couldn't agree more. The fake.
I don't know about that look that you have, man. It's just, it is. It just, you listen to hip-hop like crazy, but you look like a hipster, which makes no sense to me.
I like to throw people off.
Clearly.
Throw them off the scent of what a true piece of shit I actually am.
Well, if you've been looking forward to it as much as I have, we have a great show for you tonight. Our first guest is one of the greatest people in television today that you don't know you don't know. If you're a fan of The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, this gentleman has been on the show for over 8 years and has voiced thousands of characters on that show, both in front of the camera and behind the camera, and is most famous for puppeteering and voicing Craig's robot sidekick skeleton, Jeff Peterson. The great Josh Robert Thompson will be our first guest on the show tonight. Really looking forward to talking to him. They just ended The Late Late Show, and going to find out what's next for Josh. He's been doing work for years now with Family Guy and American Dad, and he's going to be working on a new show called The Josh Robert Thompson Show. At least tentatively it's called that. And looking forward to finding out which one of his characters is going, or which couple of characters are going to be prominently featured on his new venture. There's a lot of his characters that I really enjoy, like Apostle BG, and he does a George Lucas impression that's really pretty scary to how very similar it is. And he also does a lot of other people too. So it'll be kind of like interesting to see what he's going to be up to post The Late Late Show. And I've been following his stuff for a while now. I listen to his podcast, and really is a funny guy.
Now, are you more nervous for this interview or the Colin Quinn interview? That was coined the biggest interview of your life.
Are you? Yeah, Dr. Steve did that. Now, as an O&A fan, Colin Quinn is a fucking huge get.
Are you saying he's not a huge celebrity, though?
I'm not saying that, Dr. Steve. Don't fucking try and throw me under the bus the way Steve did on his show last week. That there's no need for that.
There's a lot of throwing under the bus going on in that show.
There is, and I am the one that's constantly under the bus. So there's that.
Sorry.
So I wouldn't say, anyone is bigger than anyone else. I would say that in different circles, certain people are more well-known than in other circles. That's how I would put it.
Yeah, they're two totally different styles of comedy.
Exactly. So
two totally different parts of the country. So
exactly. So, I mean, Josh is a more well-known national presence because he was on TV almost every night for 8 years. Except people don't realize that because he was behind a wall, which I think really stinks. I want to kind of get his feelings on that as well. But and not to overshadow the fact that we do have two guests on the show tonight. Also, the very beautiful Jenna Ivory will be joining us live from the Playboy TV set. She's working on a project for Playboy TV and their Jukebox live show, and she's going to be doing a performance for them with Ryan Keeley, who's been on this show before. And she's a real sweetheart, Penthouse Pet Ryan Keeley. And she'll be doing a performance for them tonight on Playboy TV. So we'll be talking to her before she does her run-through and stuff. So
what kind of performance are we talking about here?
I don't know what she's going to be doing. We can ask her.
I don't think I get that channel, so.
I don't get that channel either, honestly. I'm sure there's ways on the web that we can watch, but I don't get that channel either. So there's that. If you would like to call the show tonight, you can do that by dialing our hotline number, 951-FREAKS-0, 951-FREAKS-0, or for those of you that are alphabetically challenged, 951-373-2570, 951-373-2570. We hope that you're really enjoying the new website, too. That is something that Tony and I have put many hours, Tony more so than myself, into creating, and we really do hope that that you enjoy how it looks and how it functions. And I haven't heard any complaints yet, so that's good.
I haven't gotten any support emails, so that's a good thing.
Support, like tech support emails?
Oh, no, from my AA sponsor.
You need a fucking AA sponsor with the way you drink. Although you're only fucking, what, 22, 23?
I'll be 26 in March, sir.
Really?
I got a few more good years of drinking before my liver just quits.
I was going to say, I was giving you credit for your immaturity level, but okay, we'll go with 26.
Yeah. You're one to talk.
I know. I'm
40.
Hey, I'm huge. Now I sound like Fez. I'm hugely immature for my age, but
hugely, yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. You got a fat joke in.
Fat joke.
Anyway, if you wouldn't mind, check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/theradiofreaks. Check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/theradiofreaks. You can follow my personal account, twitter.com/woodfloorliquor, and you can check out Tony, twitter.com/VLLcity. So, V as in Victor, LL City. You explained at one point what that was all about. Something about vagina, I think.
No, it has nothing to do with vagina. The word starts with V, that's it.
All right.
Nice correlation.
If you wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't mind, check out our sponsors, penthousestore.com. If you're looking for a Valentine's Day present for your loved one or something, Valentine's Day is coming up, guys. If you want to get your lady something special, go to penthousestore.com. Save yourself 25% off your entire order by entering code word FREAKS, FREAKS, at checkout, and you'll save 25% off your entire order. penthousestore.com. Unlock the lifestyle. And if you go to theroadcode.com, your free way to advertise free classifieds for real estate, jobs, and more. Basically what you do, you fill out a profile page, put all your information as to what you're looking to sell, and you can get a QR code that you can put on your business cards, your flyers, your posters, whatever you want, your lawn signs, and then people come along with their cell phone, zap the QR code, and it takes you right to your page on theroadcode.com with all of your information on it. You can also search their classified section if you're looking for a house or cars or jobs or whatever you're looking for. Theroadcode.com, your free way to advertise.
I got a couch? They got any couches on there? I need a couch.
I don't know. That's, they might have a couch on there. I really have no idea. That might be something you might have to go there and look.
Yeah.
So.
You need a couch for my new place.
You need a couch for your new place? How are you enjoying your new place, by the way?
It's great. There's no one here. It's amazing.
Well, that's not bad. You had roommates before, so now you got the whole fucking thing to yourself. So that's, something you're not used to, right?
Oh, I'm jacking it all the time. It's so good.
Okay, we don't need to hear about that. Don't need to hear.
Getting detail.
Yeah, no. Something else we don't need to hear about. Christian, welcome to the Radio Freaks, my friend.
Ryan.
What's going on, buddy?
I'm just waiting on Jenna.
Yeah, Jenna will be on closer to like 10:15, 10:30.
10:15, 10:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll try at 10:30 then.
All right, buddy.
Oh, he doesn't want to talk to us?
All right.
What are we?
All right. We're two dudes. Why would he want to talk to us? We're two dudes. He likes the vagina, and I can't blame him.
I mean, so do I.
I don't know. That's not what I've heard.
I think we all do.
That's
not everybody.
Not what I've heard, Tony. I heard you like the cock. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Love it. Why do you think they weren't very accepting of my lifestyle up in Columbus, so
I
had to move.
Because when you think gay lifestyle, you think Kentucky, clearly.
Very acceptable.
Yeah, when you think homosexual acceptance, you think Kentucky, clearly.
I didn't really think that one through all the way, did I?
Not so much. No. Not so much.
Not good.
All right, Christian, we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You too.
You were encouraging Christian earlier, weren't you? Earlier in the week.
Well, number one, I didn't know. I thought it was just going to be through me. I didn't realize it was going to be through the show.
That's fine. I mean, you do have access to the show for that reason. I mean, you pretty much are a part of the show at this point. Whether, you choose it to be a permanent part of the show or I choose it to be a permanent part of the show or however it works out. At least for now, you're a huge part of the show. So.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I have anybody else to replace you with, so I'm kind of stuck with you anyway.
Sure.
You have me by the balls, as they say, which just goes along with your homosexual lifestyle. So,
say figuratively and literally, I do have you by the balls.
Yes, exactly.
You got to interact with the fans. We're in the chat room talking to Fear. Fear doesn't call,
right.
even, but he's going to keep chatting.
I interact with the fans in the chat room every week during the show.
Mm-hmm.
But
on the off days, you gotta.
No, yeah, I mean, Fear is an awesome friend of the show. He's a faithful listener of the show. Doesn't like to call in, but he is a faithful listener of the show, and he's also a fan of Dr. Steve, and also a fan of that whole community that we belong to. So he's a good egg, as they say.
You belong to. I'm not in yet.
Oh, stop! You're a fan. You're a listener. You're in the fandom, as they say, I guess.
Not of this show, but of the other ones, yes.
No, you're not a fan of this show?
No.
Ass clown.
I'm on it, but I'm not.
I'm not a fan of the show that I'm on, because that would make too much sense. Why would you want to do that anyway?
I mean, I was a fan before, so.
Well, that's cool. That's right. That's how you actually decided to start getting involved with the show.
I don't know what I was thinking, but
I don't know what you were thinking either. So, but we are glad to have you. And if you have not checked out RadioFreaks.tv yet, the brand new website that we launched a few weeks ago, go check it out. It's really cool. It's got a lot of new features. Huh?
Let's talk about it for 20 minutes again.
No, I'm not beating a dead horse, but I'm just saying. You know, if you haven't checked it out yet, go check it out. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. That's all I'm saying.
I haven't gotten
Very
any
simple.
feedback, positive or negative.
Well, it's still new yet. Just wait.
Sure.
Hang in there. I believe on the phone now, we have somebody that I'm eagerly looking forward to talking to. He's going to be in town in Philadelphia next week. They start a run for a tour that they're doing, and I believe it's still part of the Hot and Grumpy tour. You can check him out at jrtvoices.com. He's just finished the run with the Late Late Show for over 8 years, voicing thousands of different voices on the show. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Josh Robert Thompson. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. And I want to remind you to go to the website. You guys were talking about your own website there. Let's talk about that for 45 more minutes. I think we should get into that.
Yes.
Let's just get into it. Let's just talk about that. I don't want to plug this tour. I want to talk. No, I'm kidding. How are you guys? Come on.
Good. How are you?
Everybody, calm down. All right.
We're very excited to have you on the show. Of course, you're going to be touring with Craig Ferguson starting tomorrow night in North Carolina, but you'll be here in the New Jersey and Philadelphia area starting next Monday, the 9th, through the 12th, which is next Thursday at the Kimmel Center. You actually had to add an extra show in March because you got such a good response out of the Kimmel Center show in Philadelphia.
Yeah, people are, the show went off the air, and a lot of people are, they need their fix. They need their Craig Ferguson robot skeleton fake horse fix. So we're there to please. The robot won't be there, but I will be. I know some people are upset about that, but you have to deal with it. I can talk like the robot, but then I think I have to sue myself. I don't know how that works.
Well,
I don't know how that works. Anyway.
It's interesting that you say that because that kind of evokes a natural question for me, and that's, as somebody who obviously first heard of you because of the Late Late Show, but has since checked out a lot of your other projects. I listened to the podcasts. I've checked out your Vine videos and your other stuff on YouTube, and I really enjoy a lot of the other characters that never saw airtime on the Late Late Show, and a lot of that creative stuff that you do, and to be known for voicing Jeff, does that get old or annoying at some point? Because you, as a creative person, are obviously much more than just Jeff.
No, it is a double-edged sword. It's awesome. It was a great opportunity, and I had a lot of fun doing that show, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about improv and even more about comedy. So for me, it was a great thing.
Sure.
And it really helped my career quite a bit. But then on the other side, it didn't, because nobody, they didn't know who the name of the person is that did the robot. So you kind of spend the rest of your time walking around going, I swear to God, no, it was me. I'm telling you, that was me. Yeah, sure, buddy. But but it's okay, because it actually allows me to break off from that. We had a certain demographic, not everybody, but the people that watch the show by and large were of a certain CBS television demographic. They're like 95 years old and older. And so, it's nice to do other things that appeal to a younger crowd. So I got the best of both worlds right now. I've got both audiences, and they're good fans. So I'm mixed about it, but by and large, it's okay.
There were a lot of people, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but a lot of people that did pick up on the fact that you, of course, were the voice of Jeff, and that those few times where you actually did make an on-camera appearance, it was never announced that you were who you were, but those of us that knew who you were kind of excited to see you on TV. For example, last Christmas when you and Craig did the Kraftwerk vignettes for the Christmas season, those types of things, or when you would puppeteer the Morgan Freeman marionette in front of the camera.
Morgan
and things.
Freeman. That's right. Mm-hmm.
We actually
That's the good stuff right there.
We actually, from a particular radio prep website, we have some of your work that we do play weekly on our show during our commercial break. Your Morgan Freeman spots for Visa that you did.
Oh, I remember that. And in
Yes.
fact, I guess I can say it now, but one of the writers from the Late Late Show, he actually wrote those.
Oh, wow.
So we collaborated on those. We had a great time doing it. And I started on the Late Late Show actually back in 2007. I was on camera a lot as Governor Schwarzenegger and Robert De Niro, but that was in the early days. That was even before Jeff. So I think I'd been on there for about 8 years total.
Right.
And it's a hell of a run. But I was always in makeup. I was always hidden behind a robot or in makeup. So even then, I don't think people would have recognized me.
Or behind a curtain, because you were the voice of the Shy Fellas. You were the voice of Sandra the Rhino. You were the voice of everybody that called on the phone.
That's right.
The various different flies that would inhabit the studio. Pretty much every time the show required some sort of a voice, it was you. And I think that to be able to sit there, and I've heard even your most recent podcast where you did your very funny character, Apostle BG, and he was interviewing you, to be able to sit there as one singular person and listen to how you just switch back and forth seamlessly between you and your characters is fucking amazing, because I would go crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's very therapeutic. The Apostle BG is definitely my favorite character. Couldn't really do that one on CBS national television. And even now I'm debating who's going to try to kill me first tomorrow in North Carolina. But that aside, it's a fun character because I actually did grow up in Cleveland. I grew up in the Midwest, and I did go to my grandmother's church every weekend. I grew up Catholic, but she was, Pentecostal, so they had the evangelical, preachers, and that was. I think that's when I first really got into show business, because those guys are tremendous performers, and so I really loved it. I still watch it. I still crank up, turn on Trinity Broadcast Network, and watch those guys go to work. And it just makes me very happy. I don't.
Jimmy Swaggart and all those types of people that we grew up on, because I'm about the same age as you are. And back when we were younger, televangelists were huge on television. Jimmy Swaggart and all those types of guys were prominently featured on television back then. It's funny that you say you're Catholic, because
still going. Swaggart's still going. I saw him. I couldn't believe it. I saw him around New Year's. This is how exciting my life is. The New Year's Eve. Jimmy Swaggart's New Year's Eve special. Jimmy Swaggart's rocking New Year's Eve, and he's sitting at the organ and he's singing to Jesus. I'm like, well, this is fantastic. But I'm thinking that someone is puppeteering him, just like I operated Jeff, because there's no way that guy's still alive. There's no way that's happening.
And of course,
it's amazing.
The natural joke to go to, his dropping balls, especially on New Year's Eve.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right. Yeah, I think that was divine. I posted a video of that maybe on Vine.
Yes, I believe you did.
And then I said something like, "Does the ball drop now?" So there you go.
You mentioned that you grew up in Ohio, not really considered to be the Bible Belt. You grew up Catholic like I did, but my wife is from North Carolina, ironically enough, Elizabeth City on the East Coast, over by the Outer Banks. But even down there, it is very, very, my in-laws are huge Southern Baptist. And there is that culture of that very, very thick Bible Belt that you don't mess with. And you're not planning on doing any of that type of material down there. It's kind of safer to go with other people,
I'll do it because the way that I do it is it's very funny, because it's just me relaying a story about the time that my grandmother took me to church and kept giving me a big bag of like a family size bag of Hall's cough drops, but she thought they were candy, so she just kept feeding it to me. I was about 7 years old. And there's like people thought they were seeing the Holy Spirit, but it was the menthol vapors coming off my head. That's what was going on there. So then and then I just kind of do the preacher. It's really all ridiculous stuff. There's nothing, listen, everyone's going to get mad about something, so I'm just going to do my thing.
Sure.
I don't really believe in, changing the act. If we change the act from city to city, we'd be in a hell of a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, too, even in this day and age where social culture has kind of dictated or tried to dictate what people do between ISIS and these terrorist organizations blowing shit up and shooting people in France over depictions of Muhammad, you can't really buckle to these people, because then you're compromising what it is you believe in, what it is you stand for, and your whole creative process as well. So is there any concern there?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I get really worked up about that. And we did play North Carolina maybe a year ago. And the first time I did the preacher, the response, no one got mad, but it got very quiet.
But, that's fine. Most other places, especially in Canada, they go crazy for it. They really, and they get very interactive with the preacher. They want to be saved, and they go out into the audience. And that's the stuff I like. But, I can't do too much of that with Craig because I'm opening, so I've only got about a 20-minute window to make that happen. Otherwise, I would love to do it for a full show.
That's awesome. I know you're working on, I don't know if it's officially started the production end of it, but I had heard rumor that you were working on your own special, hopefully coming out soon. Is that kind of, you're going to do a lot of your different characters?
A comedy special?
Yeah, you're going to do like a stand-up comedy special? That's what I had heard anyway. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. Basically, like the idea with my podcast that I'm doing now is
I just, start to improvise a bunch of things, and then I take the best ideas from each podcast and flesh that out into a bit or a chunk of a bit, about 5 minutes, and then, hopefully the idea was to have an hour special by the end of the year, or half a special at least. Doing that, and then I just finished in August. I shot and produced the pilot for my own TV show, so we are currently putting the finishing touches on that. But that's pretty exciting as well.
Awesome.
Comedy variety program.
I believe that's tentatively called the Josh Robert Thompson Show, or?
Yeah, that's the working title. That's the super original title for the show. To the rest of America, it's the what's his name show. That should be the actual title. Who the hell is that? Oh, okay. I don't know. He comes on after Letterman? I'm asleep. All right. Well,
that could change 20 times, though, if your podcast is any indication. Because you've had the Driving Myself Crazy podcast, the Joshing Around podcast, the Poking Around podcast.
That's right.
Branding-wise, it must be great for you.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, because I can't, actually this one we're going to settle on. Joshing Around is good because my name is in the title, and I think that's the smart way to go. Truthfully, my, guy that's on the show, my comedy partner, John Mariano, who's a very funny guy in his own right, he's like, you got to stop changing the title because all these people, I said, look, there's like 4 people listening right now, so it's okay. Those 4 people are like, what the hell's going on? But, you gotta, branding, I hate that word, but you gotta do it. So that'll be it. I'm not changing it. I will not change it again. Until next week. I'm not changing it.
It's funny. I just got a text from my wife, and she never listens to the podcast, but she said she loves how I compared ISIS to Southern Baptists.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You're gonna, you know what? That's you're done. It's over, buddy.
The voices.
I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that material tomorrow. I'm going to work that
in. The opinions expressed on this podcast.
That, you Southern Baptists, you guys are just like ISIS, man. Let's talk about it, and then do about 20 minutes on that. And then, hey, ladies and gentlemen, here's Craig Ferguson. Oh, God. Boo.
Yeah, Josh, he's going to love you for that. That's a great lead-in.
Yeah. Josh, they're throwing things at me. What did you do? I don't know, man. I was just working. They're ready for you, boss. You bastard. They're ready for you, boss.
You mentioned that it was both a blessing and a curse to be cast as Jeff. To see the progression of that particular character was interesting because he started off as he started off as Craig pre-recording different phrases for him to say, and it was like a push-button type of an interface. Then, of course, you wound up getting that green light to do that and go in and pre-record those different things. And then you kind of had this, correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of like a George Takei kind of voice in a very low register for Jeff. And then it really kind of morphed into more of just your own voice. Was that your creative decision, or was that just the natural evolution of the character, or?
Yeah, I never liked the George Takei. That was a decision that one of the other writers early on had made. And I remember in the early years, before I even puppeteered Jeff live in the studio, I kept saying, it would be cool if Jeff could do other voices because he's a robot.
Sure.
So arguably he has some kind of programming within him that allows him to speak in different voices. And then I thought, well, I could make use of all these impressions.
Right.
As a resounding, no, we're not going to do that. Craig's never going to go for that. That's a terrible idea. Like, okay. So, that was a year. That was 1 year of just coming in every couple of weeks and recording a new batch of phrases. Bo, give me your pen, 6:30. Those were all written by this writer.
Sure.
Tom Straw. And he said, let's do it like George Takei. I said, okay. But the problem is everybody thought it was George Takei.
Right.
Doing the voice of the robot. Oh my God. So,
that's certainly not helping you out at all.
Kind of a variation on my, it wasn't helping me out at all. I'm like, I swear I'm not George Takei, but then it became more like this, more casual. It's still a little bit of George Takei, but, it's just more relaxed because Craig and I started to talk a lot more on the show to one another.
Right.
And it wasn't easy to keep it like this. So let me tell you, Craig, it was very difficult to have conversations in that voice. So I changed it a little bit as I got more comfortable with it.
And I would imagine, too, it would be harder to go from that type of a voice into the bevy of other voices that you would do, especially when there was a phone call or something of that nature. You would have to switch voices on a dime. And I would imagine for yourself and for your throat, it would be more difficult to do something like that.
Yeah, and also just sometimes Jeff would have conversations with, like, Sandra the Rhino, or Craig would have Jeff have a conversation with somebody on the phone, like Jerry from room service, so I had to go back and forth. He would always try to screw me up, but it never...
I noticed that.
I don't think he ever got me on that.
No, I don't think he did.
He took a lot of pleasure in that.
Some of my favorite moments, and I promise I won't continue to keep going on about the Late Late Show, but some of my favorite moments were when you really got to Craig and got him to break character, as it were, and just completely break down crying or laughing with the different things that you would say.
The greatest moment, I think the moment that sealed the deal for all of us and really kind of... I gained respect with him and his trust because, again, you're introducing some new performer into your talk show, and it could go horribly wrong. So we did the bit about you got a place there. Any place that Craig would ask, during the pre-mail segment, he'd say, "Hey Jeff, you ever been to New Orleans?" And I just
always had a place there.
Hell yeah,
sure,
sure, I've been there. Yeah, really. The best was when Craig would go along with it.
Right.
Then he started, because for a while he wouldn't go along with the bits, which I understood. He was trying to keep it moving. He didn't know what was going to happen. But then he just said, yeah, really? Tell me about that. That's always a great thing. I was like, well, I'll tell you, I like to go swimming. I like to go swimming naked and throw beads. You should come by sometime. Is that right?
Yep.
And so then every place, I just agreed. So Jeff has a place pretty much in every state in the nation.
And then that progressed, of course, into, this is Michael from Washington. Have you been there? Oh, yes, Michael, I've been there.
yeah, I've been to Michael. Yeah, I've been to Michael. That's right. Yeah, any guy. Have you been there? And then I'd say, Michael, yes, I've been there. Yeah, that's right. It was a big laugh. And then other bits like showing a picture of the owl and me saying who, and I couldn't remember the person's name. They're ridiculous, but.
Have you been to Dover?
I implemented myself, like the flies in the studio. the phone calls. That was all new. The director of the show, Tim Mancinelli, he gave me a button one day. He said, "Look, this button, we're going to set it on the floor, and it's wired into the speaker system." He said, "You press it with your foot, it makes the phone ringing noise."
Right.
So I was actually the one that made the phone ring, and I would just mess with Craig, even when he took it off the receiver, I kept it ringing, just to piss him off, and he would get all worked up, and then he's like, "All right." Oh man!
You were given a piece of advice by the racist, or the not racist, Michael Natus, who was an interesting quote that I saw that you had posted, that he gave you advice not to ever be funnier than the host. And you would think that would be a common piece of advice in Hollywood. However, I think that just your style of comedy, the way that you developed as a comedian on the show and things, I think it was very hard to adhere to that, and almost kind of bad advice. In a way.
Yeah. I mean, it was in, and to Michael Natus' credit as a producer, that was in the very beginning of the live studio stuff with Jeff the Robot. So everybody was really very on edge about that, because it's Craig's show ultimately, and it's a late night network property, and here comes this untested comedian, and nobody knows what's going to happen. But and then Craig, of course, would give me his own advice, which was, go for it, do whatever you want, to hell with him.
Sure.
Then then you do that, and it was like, listen, Craig's allowed to drop F-bombs, but you can't do that because it encourages him. So I had a real balancing act there behind that wall. Well, sometimes if some shows really sucked and Jeff wasn't saying much, it's because in the beginning I was afraid to agree to whatever Craig was talking about. Like, we said vagina once in the monologue, Josh, you cannot do a callback to vagina. Okay. All right, great. But that's what Natus would say. Michael Natus would say to me 30 seconds before every show. He would, just before the show would begin, he would say, this is our running joke, but it's true. He would say, Josh, Craig is in a bad mood. We have a terrible audience. And there's a swear word. There's a vagina in the monologue. You can only say it one time. Have a good show, and then he'd walk away. Oh God, what am I gonna? Oh God, here we go.
Nice.
So that's pretty much how that worked. Yeah.
So you're planning on doing your own show that really, I mean, I think you've pretty much, have you finished the first season of the Josh Robert Thompson show, or is it you're still doing production stuff for it, or?
No, we're the team that I'm working with is group of really talented folks that I worked with back in the public access access TV days, and they're currently editing everything. There's enough footage in there because the whole show is improvised for probably a full season, 13 episodes.
Wow.
But right now they're focusing on just cutting together the initial pilot episode, which will probably be, half hour long. And I play most of the characters. There was a lot of heavy prosthetic makeup and really great sets and puppets and stop motion animation and a lot of model work. And I'm really, really excited about it. I can't really say too much else about it, but we're very, very happy with what we have. I did try to do a series last year, which was pretty good, but it turned into more of a web series, if anything else. But it was we did like Cooking with Robert De Niro, and I think some George Lucas George Lucas interview and a couple other things.
Right.
But this is something a little bit different. It's a little bit different than that.
The prosthetic makeup guys that you have working on this project, or at least on the last project, were phenomenal, because, I mean, you really do look like Robert De Niro. You really do look like George Lucas. So there is that believability that you are those people. I can almost see that people are going to confuse you already for actually being those people. Does that kind of put you in the same spot that you were in at the Late Late Show, where are you afraid people aren't going to know?
I mean, it's a compliment. I mean, I've had that in my own voice work where, because I do a lot of dialogue replacement for Morgan Freeman and some other people for movies and different things. And, you can't really tell the difference. If people ever say that, I couldn't tell the difference, that's always nice to me. But, yeah, the makeup team, Greg McDougall
is my buddy from back in Ohio.
Right.
And he's just an incredible makeup artist. And along with his hair and, well, she's a hair person, Katie Lucina. The new George Lucas, the new version of George Lucas and Apostle BG and all the other stuff for the new series is about 10,000 times better than what they did last year. So they really even topped themselves. There's a video floating around of me as George Lucas in the brand new makeup doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge when we were on the set of my show.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny. It's George holding a Jar Jar Binks doll and calling out Steven Spielberg.
And then Gary Sharon, for some reason, I thought it was funny that George Lucas would know Gary Sharon from Extreme. I have no idea why he would know him, but anyway, it's great makeup. They did a great job.
Very good stuff.
As a kid growing up in Ohio, were you always? This may sound like a hack question, but I'm curious. Was this something that always interested you? Was being funny and imitating voices and that type of stuff entertaining?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I mentioned my grandmother earlier that used to take me to her church, and she, that was like our day, like Sundays were our day. And then on my birthday, she took me to KB Hobby Store, which used to be all over the place, and let me pick out what I wanted, and I got a Fisher-Price tape recorder. And I was probably 8 or 9, maybe 7 or 8, something like that. Anyway, but I became obsessed with recording my voice.
Right.
Playing it back, and back then the Muppet Show was still running episodes, and I would watch that, and I started to figure out that that one guy would do multiple voices, like Frank Oz was Grover and Miss Piggy and Fozzie Bear. So I started to put that together, to figure out you can actually do that. So that's when and also I was an only child and I wasn't into sports and. So there wasn't much else to do, really, in Ohio for me. It was just, wasn't going to be in the military, wasn't going to, do sports. So I was pretty much screwed. So I had my Fisher-Price tape recorder.
Nice. Yeah. You have a bevy of new characters that people may have seen on the previous show. There's a bunch of them, I think, that are brand new from the pictures that I've seen and things that I've seen on your Vine and stuff like that. I think his name is Gary. He's
Gary the Ogre. That's
yes,
right.
Gary the Ogre. He's new.
Yeah, Gary the Ogre. Gary the Ogre started as the first version of that was a guy named Robin Super. Hi guys.
Sure.
He was my gay character.
Right.
And I still do Robin Super on the podcast.
But Robin was had a terrible product in the '90s called the Robin Super Pooper Scooper, and it was a terrible product. And but he was also a cabaret singer.
Sure.
And I thought it was okay, but the idea of a
gay ogre with these almost veiny, penis-y looking horns was so much better. And so the new accent is actually Serge, who used to call in to the Late Late Show.
I was going to say they sound similar.
Yeah. So he was, hi guys, it's me Serge, and it's now Gary the Ogre. But I didn't want to say Gary the Ogre on the Late Late Show because then they would have owned that. So
sure.
I wasn't gonna do that. So that's
How do you feel about that type of stuff? You mentioned that obviously if you do something like that, I guess those characters then become creative property of CBS Corporation. I know when we tried to pitch this show to SiriusXM, they were interested in the show, but they wanted to own all of the intellectual property of the show, the name of the show, and all that stuff. How do you feel about the fact that Jeff Peterson or, Serge or all those characters, the Shy Guys that you helped create are now somebody else's and you can't actually do those characters?
Well, I'm not too concerned about it. I know Craig actually does have, he now owns Jeff Peterson and Secretariat. So they gave that over to him. So that they don't have anything to do with that anymore, which is great.
Sure.
And I think that probably goes for the other characters, too. But that's why I tweaked it a little bit, because I just didn't want to run into a problem later on down the road. Some fans will probably recognize the voice, and you'll get people that will say, this is Surge, bro. but that's fine, because it's probably I can't see 67-year-old women in their leopard print muumuus getting too worked up about that. They don't even know how to find their web series or anything. So I think we're going to be okay. We'll be all right.
Speaking of the new show, what network are we going to be able to find the show on, or where can we watch it when you finally do release it, or is that kind of still hush hush?
Oh, I don't know. That's the big question. Yeah, that's kind of on the DL, but mostly because I don't know yet. We're just we had a finished cut, and then I came up with another idea for the show, so we've been adding a couple things to it.
Okay.
And then once the tour is over, we'll start to, see if we can shop that around, see what happens. I would love to see it find a home at some place like, IFC or HBO. Those seem like, or FX. That seems like then it's good now. It's better now for people trying to create a show because there are so many more avenues like, Amazon or Hulu or Netflix. There's so many more. Like the shows I liked back in the day, like the Ben Stiller show and the Dana Carvey show, they didn't last as long as they should have, and they would still be on now if Netflix and Hulu was around back then.
Yeah, that was kind of
I'm sure of that.
That was kind of going to be my question. Were you leaning more towards a broadcast network, or this new bevy of new opportunities that we do have, thanks to Amazon and Netflix and Hulu and those types of platforms?
Yeah, I think that, and I think I definitely wouldn't. I probably couldn't have it on network TV, but even now they're like NBC really threw down the gauntlet with their Hannibal TV series, which is extremely violent and gory, and it's on network TV. So they have to compete. But no, I would rather it find a home elsewhere because really, again, it's that thing of there's a whole new generation that doesn't even know what broadcast means. It doesn't really exist anymore. Right. It's kind of an antiquated term. Everything is online. I just thought there's a bunch of the older fans that were saying, now what, is it going to be on TV or on the internet? And I'm like, well, there's not really a difference anymore. It's kind of not there, but it's almost like, well, now is this a legitimate show or is this one of these fake shows? Well, some of these, what's the show, Broad City? I mean, those girls started out doing, okay videos on YouTube that were, they were all right, nothing to write home about, but Amy Poehler found something in them that she liked, and now they're on their second season on the, what the hell is the name of that channel? I don't know. Comedy something. What? Anyway, they're on TV. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say. Real TV, folks.
I mean, anything can happen. I mean, for Christ's sake, Jenna fucking Marbles has got a goddamn radio show on Sirius XM, for Christ's sake. So, I mean...
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, and it's hard. I used to sort of let that really upset me, but it's a business that's just been turned on its head completely, and it's very, very strange out there. Because you think, you go, well, I was on a TV show for 8 years, you do all this work, and it doesn't matter. It's just really kind of about who you know, and because if Jenna Marbles had the radio show, then you know what, I'm gonna take myself out during this phone call. If you guys hear a gunshot go off, don't just keep going. Jeez, I mean, I don't understand. I really don't understand it. It's not for me to understand. It's like the Dane Cook phenomenon. I think Dane Cook's a very cool guy, and I've enjoyed a lot of his shows at the Laugh Factory when he's just doing crowd work. It's phenomenal. He's amazing. But he blew up, and he found a certain audience. He's not my favorite comic in the world, but 70 bazillion people at the time disagreed with me. So what? I can't really argue with it. But it's like going on Vine. These kids have like lucrative deals with Pepsi. There's somebody that, for a living, she just does YouTube videos where she unwraps toys.
There's all these videos out there where people do product reviews and stuff, and people eat this shit up. I don't get it.
She made $4.5 million last year.
Wow.
Thank you. So so let that be a lesson to all you parents out there. Your kids are sitting there playing video games and doing nothing. Encourage them to continue doing that, because I feel like someday your son could be a millionaire.
I know.
For playing video games.
Holy shit. Well, you're going. You're going to be in.
By the way, I love the flyer. I By the way,
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
Fantastic. We got to talk about that. Fantastic.
So my co-host.
How did you find that?
I was actually waiting to talk about that.
My co-host, who really hasn't said a whole lot during this interview, is my web guy, and he does all those graphics for me. And I kind of give him carte blanche with it. And I know that wasn't exactly the most current picture we could possibly have found of you, but I didn't think it was too far off of what you kind of sort of look like now, considering those are the pictures. Those are the pictures that are on your website. So I figured, okay, fine.
No, that picture's not. Is that picture? That picture's not on my website. No way.
No, it was
some serious
no,
Googling.
I'm gonna look right now. Don't you hang up on me. I'm gonna look right now. If someone's playing a prank on me, no, that picture's not on my website.
If not,
no,
they're similar.
That photo was from an old photo shoot from. There was some short-lived podcast network. I think it was called Hot Talk LA. Talk LA. Holy God. Anyway, so and I had my first podcast on there.
Yes.
You know, the top podcast title number 47, the very first one, was Josh Robert Thompson Radio Theater, the longest title in the history of the podcast. And yeah, and that was a photo shoot. And in that shot, I was actually being Robin Super. So I was very like, hey there. So I'm looking at this advertisement, and I'm going, oh God, I got the vest on and I would never walk around wearing that. What the hell is happening out there? But thank you for changing it. I appreciate it. Thank you. And you put the lovely adult film star right in front of me. So I really like that. That was very sexy. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
You know, after we were first of all very, very nervous that we had pissed you off, so we immediately went into panic mode, and I said, "Oh shit, we got to find the most recent picture you can possibly think of Josh." And for those of you that are in the chat room paying attention to the video monitor live right now, I just put up the previous version of the graphic that we're referring to right now. And I said, we have to find the most recent picture we possibly can of Josh. So I found this one picture that said in the caption it was taken after you wrapped the Late Late Show. And I'm like, look, unless he takes a fucking selfie and sends it to us, this has got to be the most recent picture on the internet of Josh. So...
yeah, then I looked at that and I was like, God, I hate that picture because I had a hangover that day. But it actually looks great because you got what is her name? What's the adult film?
Jenna Ivory.
Name?
Jenna Ivory.
Jenna Ivory. Look, you know, she's that. You know what? That's fine. Everything works. You know what? I take it back. You could have put that old picture up there. It doesn't matter because guess what? No one's looking. No one's looking at that. Because all they're doing is looking at Jenna Ivory and they're going, all right, lower. Just if you want to just push those just a little bit. There you go. Good for you. Now, when does she come on? What is she, the next hour? How are you going to do an hour with her? What do you do? How does this work?
Normally, we would do an hour with her. She's supposed to originally... we have our adult film stars calling around 10:15, but she's actually going to be calling in closer to 10 o'clock because she's on set right now for Playboy TV. So there's that.
Okay, all right. So even she's got a show. That's good. Well, I'm getting my gun. I'm loading my gun right now. So you guys go on ahead and talk it to yourselves. Doesn't it just feel like some days that you like? It feels like I did all this just years of go to school for broadcasting, whatever, public access, and then you go, oh wow. Then you get on TV and people go, yeah, TV, that's cool. But my buddy's got my buddy's got the top Vine series in the world. All right, well, you know what? Boy, that picture is good, though. Look at that Jenna Ivory. Man, oh, man. She's very talented. I looked up some of her work. She's very good at it.
Doing research. Very good. Very good.
Well, yeah. I have to make sure I know everybody that's going to be on the show.
I do not like this ad at all. I don't like that.
No.
Well, you're going to be, I'm going to plug your tour dates, and then I have one other question for you. You're going to be in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area next week. February 9th, you're going to be at the Count Basie Theater, which my dad fancies himself a community play actor who has done a couple community plays, and he actually has performed at the Count Basie. You're going to love it. It's a beautiful theater. And that's
great. I love those. That's great.
That's in Red Bank, New Jersey. You can check him out February 9th with Craig Ferguson there. February 10th, they're going to be at the Whitaker Center in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. February 11th, they're going to be at the Miriam Theater in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And then the 12th, you're going to be...
Sorry, Miriam is one of the horrible women that I used to play on the show.
The old woman who hates Craig.
Yeah, that's right.
February 12th, you're going to be at the Kimmel Center in Philadelphia. And then March 4th, you've actually added a second show at the Kimmel Center here in Philadelphia. So that's very, very cool.
Holy crap. What do I get to do I get to sleep? I mean, what's going on over there?
I look at this, and almost every day you guys have a show, so that's a lot of traveling in between too. So
yeah, it's going to be good, man. We got a great group of guys, and we got Joseph Bolter in the front, Ryan McGowan in the back, respectively. Together, they are secretariat, and they are they're running the show this time around. They're helping with the tour managing, and they're also going to join us on stage in horse form. And so we have a great time.
Very cool
on the big old tour bus. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to try, even though I live in Philadelphia, because that show is sold out this time around, I'm going to probably try and make it out to the Red Bank show at the Count Basie Theater. And are you guys doing meet and greets and stuff? I know I had seen you guys in Atlantic City last year, and I don't think you guys did meet and greets after that show, but I don't know if you're doing it this year.
Yeah, it depends. It depends. Sometimes Craig will say, all right, listen, as soon as I'm done, we're going to everybody be ready. Everybody be in the car, ready to go as soon as I'm done. If I will drop the mic and start running, if you're not ready, I will kill you. Do you understand me? No, all right, okay, all right. No, sometimes it just depends, man. It just depends. So we'll see.
I would love to be able to stop by and personally thank you and say hello, but I understand that if that's not possible, hopefully we'll be able to catch you another time.
Yeah, we can try and work that out. Yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be great. Absolutely.
My last question for you before we let you go is a late show related question. I know you're shocked and appalled, but
no, that's fine. Totally fine. Totally fine. No, I think just to clear the air, I think I do a lot of satirical ranting for the most part on my podcast. So anything you hear on my podcast is mostly BS. Everyone thought I was a Lyft driver. They thought things were that bad.
Yeah, they thought you were an Uber driver.
Lyft driver. I thought
crazy.
It was funny. I'm an Uber driver. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I made a joke about it, and some guy emailed me, and he's like, you know what, man? You should be grateful for you. And I'm like, no, dude, it's a joke. Just calm down. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, you got
your response.
Late show question.
Your response to those people is hashtag I'm still here, which I can't decide if that's a joke, like referencing the phone calls that you guys made, or just saying, hey, look, I haven't died. I'm still performing. You can still see me. So, but either way, it works.
Both. I think it works out. It works out both ways. Yeah, because people are always like, "Boy, I'm so sorry you're gone." It's like, I'm not dead. I'm right here. There's a whole thing you can look at. I know it's too bad, though. All right, well, I'm sorry.
My favorite one was the woman yesterday who said, "I just want to know, are you going to be on tour with Craig?" And, oh, for God's sake! Lady, give me the gun. Give me the gun. I'll do it. No, she's fine. No, I got bad PR. What am I going to do?
I'm
working on it.
You obviously made Jeff Peterson famous. He was built by Grant Imahara for Craig Ferguson's robot skeleton army that he had envisioned. And for the last several years of the show, he became an iconic part of what made that show so funny, at least for myself. Was your participation in the conversations with Craig as Jeff and the other characters as well. But my question is, as Craig, I guess, owns the physical property of Jeff Peterson, is there any plans at this point or maybe in the future to submit Jeff in his stasis form to like the Museum of Television and Radio or something like that because of his significance?
That'd be cool.
I don't know. I'll have to talk to him about that because there are actually two Jeffs. There's one that we would use when we were on the road. We shot in Vegas and Paris,
right,
and Scotland. So Super Bowl. Yeah, he's more lightweight and more travel friendly. So there's two of them. So we could certainly put one of them in. One day it will be in the Smithsonian.
Yes, or even the Smithsonian.
That'd be cool if they had like interactive buttons and you could make Jeff say shit. And then,
Adam West.
I want one for when I'm like 90 years old. I want one in a glass case in my living room, and I just sit in my robe with nothing underneath, drinking like scotch, and I'll be like, "That was me. You're a man. Shut up, Grandpa. Just shut up."
That's funny.
I've got my whole future mapped out. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, very, very cool. I wish you nothing but the best of luck, sir. I really do hope I get an opportunity to shake your hand in Red Bank, but I do hope that you don't fucking obviously you're kidding, but that you continue to have a lot of success in the future, and at least there will be a few of us out there that will be hardcore following what you do in the future and rooting for you. So,
thank you, man. I appreciate it. And as long as I don't get murdered in Greensboro, North Carolina tomorrow, I will be doing more stuff in the future. Thank you very much.
For more information, you can check out Josh's website, jrtvoices.com, and you can follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/Josh R. Thompson. Josh, thank you so much again for coming on the show, and we appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. And tell Jenna Ivory I said hi. Thanks.
I will. Thanks. Have a great night, man.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye. All right. We normally here would take a break real quick, but I have 2 phone calls here that I really have to get to. Real quick, I'm going to take this one because I know Jenna is actually on the line and waiting, but I really want to say hello to this person. Maybe I should do this. Caller, you're on the Radio Freaks. What's her name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Danica Dylan, and I'm calling from San Diego.
Welcome back. How are you?
Good. You went live, and it pinged on my phone, so I figured I'd call in and say hi real quick.
Well, hello. How are you? Hope everything's good.
I'm good. I'm doing great.
Lainey mentioned that she ran into you out at the AVNs again this year, and she said you looked fabulous. And I asked her to say hello. I hope that she got the opportunity to do that. But I'm glad to see
I only ran into her the once.
Oh, okay.
Well, twice, technically. She needed a ticket for AVN. She didn't have one. And then I told her I had an extra one, and I didn't see her again after that.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully everything's been going well for you. How's things been?
Good.
Cool.
Good. I've been working a lot. I'm getting ready to feature dance in Philly.
Ooh, when's that?
I don't know what club, but it's March 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Awesome. Cool. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't I have you back on to talk about that shit further as we get a little bit closer? You want to do that?
Okay.
Yeah, you can
That's
actually...
fine. I was just calling in to say hi anyways.
No, I mean, we want to have you back on. You can either, if you want to co-host or if you would want to call in as a guest, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But I would definitely love to help you promote those dates.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great talking to you, hon. And you still have the same email address? I'll shoot you an email.
Of course I do.
Cool. All right. Did you change your phone number? Because I'll just text you.
No, I should still have the same phone number.
Okay. Well, one of two ways you'll hear from me within the next few days.
Okay, darling.
Thank you, love. It was good talking to you.
And I said hello.
I will. We'll talk to you soon, hon.
All right, bye.
Thanks. Bye. Danica Dylan, of course, one of the former co-hosts of the Radio Freak, so very cool to talk to her. On the show now, live from, I believe, Playboy TV, if I'm not mistaken. I believe she's already on set for the Jukebox Live show that she's doing tonight at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. The beautiful Jenna Ivory's on the phone. How are you, Jenna?
Good. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Josh Robert Thompson says hello.
Oh, yes, I heard him. Tell him I said hello as well.
So you're doing this Jukebox Live for Playboy. What is Jukebox Live? Is it like a music show or?
No, it's actually a live broadcasting where they show like video clips of certain porn videos that the fans call in and ask to see.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. So it's almost kind of like an on-demand video podcast type of thing.
Yeah, it's like the TRL of porn, pretty much.
Nice. That's an interesting concept. Because TRL, of course, very popular back in the day for MTV. So, I mean, obviously a tried and true concept that worked very well. Why not revive something like that? And because, I mean, that's what people do nowadays. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of... I'm not trying to bash Playboy by saying this, but there's not a whole lot of original ideas left in media. So a lot of people will kind of put their spin on different things, and it's cool that they've kind of revived that concept because it was a very successful concept. So
right, I totally agree.
So you were out at the AVNs this year, and you were nominated for Cutest Newcomer, which I can totally see. We do research for the show, and of course I say research in quotes, because any guy looking at pictures of beautiful women, especially as cute as you are, is always researching quotes, or at least that's what we tell our wives. But
well, thank you.
You are very, very cute. So I'm very disappointed that you didn't actually win Cutest Newcomer of the Year, because I think that you got something going there. Not that you need my opinion and justification to tell you that, but I do agree that you definitely should have won Cutest Newcomer.
Well, of course, there's always next year.
Sure. You're working tonight with somebody that we love on this show, the beautiful Ryan Keeley. Were you approached to do this, or is this something that really interested you to do, or?
I would have to say both. I mean, I've always been interested in it, and I totally agree with you. Ryan Keeley is a beautiful girl and a total sweetheart as well.
Yeah, she's we've had her on the show before, and she's a real sweetheart, and she's got a great personality, and I think that you're really going to enjoy your time on the show. It sounds like something cool. Is this something they do every week, or is it nightly, or is it weekly? Is it what kind of thing?
I believe it's weekly.
Okay.
That's every
Cool.
Wednesday.
And you just shot a bunch of new scenes for Brazzers too, right?
Yes, I did.
It's your first anal scene?
Yes, that's correct. I did my first anal scene for Brazzers with Danny D.
Oh, okay. What prompted you to? I mean, you're pretty new to the business. You've only been in the business like about a year now, and you're young too. You're only about 21. So, I mean, is that something that you do in your personal life? Was it easy for you to do something like that on camera? Because there's a lot of people that
I don't actually really do it in my personal life. I've only done it several times, so it was a little bit of a task, but I completely had fun. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, okay, cool. Is there a big difference as far as, I mean, obviously when you're doing it in your personal life, you don't really do a whole lot when you're doing it. It's more of a heat of the moment kind of thing. But is there any special kind of preparation you guys have to do a scene like that on a set?
For anal, I mean, you kind of have to fast a little bit and make sure you stay clean, of course. Sure. And a few hours before, just like if you get hungry, then you should eat gummy bears and gummy worms.
Ah, gummy bears. Why is that? Because it has sugar and it keeps your sugar up and stuff like that?
Yeah, that as well.
I was going to say, because it's basically, pure sugar in like a gelatin form. So I guess it would be kind of like eating Jell-O almost.
Right.
Huh. That's interesting. Is there any kind of preparation that you have to do as far as like stretching?
Well, also, I mean, make sure you use like butt plugs, and I like to use coconut oil.
Ah. Why coconut oil? That's interesting.
It glides in pretty good, and it's like organic. I don't know. I like it. It smells good too.
Oh, interesting. I've never heard of somebody using coconut oil before. That's really pretty cool.
And it's all natural, so.
Oh, that's true. I mean, is there a big difference between using that type of stuff and something like Electroglide or Anal-Ease or?
I've never really tried anything else. Only coconut oil, honestly.
Was it recommended to you to do that, or did you just figure it out on your own, or?
Well, I mean, actually, it was actually recommended to me on earlier in my career by another porn star when I was on set for Vivid on the radio show. Kendall Carson actually recommended it.
Oh, nice. So it's good that you kind of get some advice from somebody who's been in the business for a while. I'm sure that's something that comes in very handy to be able to have somebody to talk to about, different things that you don't normally do in your personal life that you're going to have to wind up doing on set. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you don't do it in your personal life, it's not something that you're used to, so you don't know how you're going to react or handle it. So I guess it would be good to have somebody you can lean on to kind of get that advice from in situations like that.
Exactly.
Very cool. So you're fairly new to the business. You have done some new scenes for Brazzers where you did your first anal. There's a lot of people who get into the business for a purpose. They get into further, say their bank account, or they're trying to pay off student loans, or they're looking to make a career out of this and they're looking to go long term. There's some people that just want to get in for the notoriety. What made you want to get into doing adult film?
Well, I got into adult film obviously to further career-wise, and also because when I was in high school, I was not promiscuous at all. And honestly, after I graduated from high school and turned 18, I just turned into a total horny toad. So porn was always an interest of mine.
That's interesting, because especially in this day and age, I mean, you're very young. Like I said earlier, you're just turned 21 not that long ago. For somebody in this day and age not to really be promiscuous, especially as a girl, is almost, I'm not going to say unheard of, because it's a good thing that you weren't promiscuous. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, geez, what the fuck? Why weren't you fucking around? But it's not something that you hear very often these days. A lot of girls, tend to have sex very, very young in life for some reason. A lot of people nowadays, I'm hearing stories, people lose their virginity at, 14, 13, 12. MTV made a whole series about, 16 and pregnant, and how these girls have started having sex very, very early. What was it in your life that kind of where you made that decision to not be promiscuous at such a young age?
Well, honestly, I was just too focused in my schoolwork, and I was a complete tomboy. So, I mean, guys were not really on my to-do list.
Gotcha.
I was too busy working out in the gym and stuff with guys. So,
nice.
The closest I got to a guy would be if they were spotting me.
Huh. Did you feel that? I mean, were there guys trying, or was it a matter of because you were a tomboy, you hadn't really filled out yet, and people weren't paying attention to you?
I hadn't really filled out yet, honestly. And then also, I mean, I was like I said, a tomboy, so I was just one of the guys.
Oh, okay.
So to speak.
Was it interesting when you finally did start to develop? When did you start to realize that people really were starting to pay attention to you and give you the eye, as they say, when you started developing?
Really, I would have to say 18, definitely.
Okay.
So my body started filling out, and
so you were a late bloomer then. Yeah, you were a late bloomer. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Late bloomer.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Did you go to college for anything, or did you just finish high school?
No,
I mean,
I finished high school. I was going to go into college, but I decided to go another route. I was going to go into college for administration of law and justice. I actually wanted to be a police officer.
Ah, what made you want to do that?
I'm really into criminology, honestly. I like to protect and serve, I guess you can say. I would like to.
Okay. Now you're not necessarily protecting, but you're serving in a different way.
yeah, you can say that, and serving in a different way.
I know, that was terribly retarded of me to say. I apologize.
No, you're...
I'm in that industry as well, the public servant industry as well. I'm in an EMT, so I mean, I can certainly understand from a long time that
that's totally hot.
When I was younger, a lot of those feelings that I just wanted to help people were present. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of how you felt? You wanted to just go out there and do things for other people, help keep them safe, that type of stuff? What drew you to what drew you to that?
What drew me to that? Honestly, I have I don't know, it's like a deep-seated thing for keeping people safe, I guess you'd say.
Oh, okay, nice. So, how long does this thing go tonight? It starts at 8 on the West Coast.
It goes for about an hour.
Oh, all right, that's not too terrible. And is it, I'm guessing because it's on Playboy TV, it's uncensored.
It's a little bit censored, but I mean, well, as far as just like, I mean, like, yeah, no, it's actually really not censored, I guess you could say.
No, what? I didn't hear what you said.
I know, no, it's not censored.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it's on Playboy TV. You would think, I think, just inherently that, hey, you know, you're going to see some stuff. So, I mean, on Cinemax and things of that nature, I can understand because it's not a, it's not a paid channel or anything else like that. They kind of come as a package that they would have, softcore porn where you didn't actually see insertion or anything like that, but that you just kind of saw more softcore type stuff. But this is hardcore stuff that they're showing on Playboy TV.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. Very, very cool. Well, is this something that you think that you want to do again? Is this something that, have you, I mean, I'm sure you've been working on this type of stuff. Is it something that you, do you want to do your own podcast or do your own video cast, or is this something you're just kind of doing for fun?
I definitely would. I love talking to my fans. I love interacting with all my fans and my followers and everything else. They're very supportive, and I definitely like getting feedback and just conversing with them. So that's definitely something I would be interested in, is continue to do this as well as eventually do my own podcast or show.
Oh, okay. Nice. Is this something that you see yourself doing long term, staying in the industry, or is this a means to an end, or is this something that, you have people like Seika and Nina Hartley, who obviously are legends in the business, have been in the business for a very, very long time. Do you see yourself becoming a GILF in the industry, or is this something that you kind of want to hit a nice round number and punch out?
Most definitely, I would love to do it for the long run. I am all for it, and yes, like you said, a GILF, totally. I want to be around as long as I can.
Do you find that with the way the adult film industry is now, where there's such an oversaturation of talent, that it's hard to rise to the top?
I mean, to each his own, but I mean, there's a lot of talent, new talent coming in and out continuously. Since I've been in for a little over a year, almost a year and a half now, I've seen a lot of those come and go. But I'm not really too worried about that. I'm honestly just focused on my own career. But I mean,
All right. Where do you see your career going? What types of stuff do you want to do in your career in the industry?
I want to continue to do what I am doing. I want to obviously go down other avenues and do more scripted roles as well.
Okay. So, I mean, you enjoy the parody type stuff, or you want to do what?
No, I love all aspects of it, but parody stuff is definitely something I am into. I recently just did my first parody for Dog Fart, and it was I played the role of Piper from the Orange is the New Black.
Okay, yeah, I saw that you did that. That's pretty interesting. Were you a fan of Orange is the New Black before you did that, or?
Honestly, no, I wasn't.
No.
But I did do a little bit of research right before it when they asked me if I wanted to play the role, and it's just something that I was totally into. It was a lot of fun working with both Chanel Hart and Monique Simone.
Ah, very, very cool. And where can people find that?
They can find it on Orange is the New Black for Dog Fart. You can just go to Dog Fart Network and look it up.
Wait, I'm sorry, what network?
Orange is the New Black's on Blondes is what it's called on Dog Fart Network.
Okay, cool. Very, very cool. Is there something long term? I mean, you obviously this year were nominated for Cutest Newcomer of the Year for AVNs. You're looking to be nominated for something again next year. Obviously, the more you stay relevant and the more that you perform, you're going to get nominated for these types of awards. Is there anything that you're aiming for? Obviously, Cutest Newcomer is a good place to start. Is there something that you really are looking forward to striving towards to win?
Honestly, I'm not really too concerned about the awards or anything else like that. I love my work, and if I get nominated for anything else, then by all means necessary, thank you. I would appreciate it, and I'd be completely humble. And but other than that, I love my scenes and everything else. But that's about it.
Okay, cool. Well, I know that you have to do read-throughs and stuff like that. Are they? When do you have to actually be on set?
I'm actually. What time is it? In the next 5 minutes.
Well, I don't want you to get.
Look at the clock here for a second.
I don't want you to get in trouble, but you can check out Jenna Ivory on the on Playboy TV tonight at 8 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, on the Jukebox Live show with host Penthouse Pet Ryan Keeley, and you can check her out, her brand new anal scene at Brazzers, BRAZZERS.com. And where can people find Playboy TV? Is it just on their cable provider, or can they stream it online also?
Yeah, their cable provider, and they can also call in starting at 8 o'clock at 855-355-JUKE.
Cool. Very nice. Well,
and you can also see me on Twitter at Jenna Ivory XXX, and my Instagram, which is the Jenna Ivory.
And you have a Facebook page, Jenna Ivory Official, on Facebook.
Yes.
And very, very cool. Well, we wish you luck with everything. I hope that everything goes well tonight. Are you nervous?
A little bit. I've been here since been on set since 4:30, just kind of rehearsing and going over everything, and my nerves have calmed down a little bit, quite a bit
good.
Actually.
Especially for being on set for 3 hours now, I would hope that your nerves have calmed down at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, Jenna. You can check her out on Facebook, like she said, like we said earlier, Facebook.com/Jenna Ivory Official, Twitter.com/Jenna Ivory XXX, and Instagram.com the Jenna Ivory. Did you set all those up yourself, or did somebody set them up for you, or?
No, I set them up myself.
Okay.
I run all my accounts.
Just a thought. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your career at all, but I would. Just a suggestion to make it easier on yourself, maybe to be found, maybe change the names to all the same thing if you can, just so that it's easier for people.
That would be a good idea.
So,
well, I mean, I had my Instagram as the same thing before, but the only thing is this is actually my 5th Instagram. Instagram does not like me too well.
No, why is that?
They I don't know, maybe I'm just too racy, or I don't know, maybe it's just some haters out there that keep reporting my pictures. I have no idea.
Are you posting stuff that you shouldn't post? I mean, I've looked.
I mean,
at
there's no nudes or anything like that. I mean, there's some risque, but I mean, there's you can't see genitalia or anything like that, or my goods. You can't really see my goods. Yeah.
I mean, the worst that I've seen.
I mean, everyone needs booty in their life. Or Jenna Ivory booty in their life, I feel.
I would like some Jenna Ivory booty in my life. You have a very big booty too, which seems to draw a lot of people in. I don't understand that when we did research and tried to find some pictures, we put pictures up of who we're talking to and stuff like that. The worst I saw was maybe some hard nipples through a T-shirt or something like that. So I don't understand why they got so upset. So I don't know. But you can check out Jenna Ivory at those social media sites. Again, I'll give them out again. The Facebook page, Facebook.com, Jenna Ivory Official, Twitter.com, Jenna Ivory XXX, and Instagram.com, the Jenna Ivory. Jenna, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Tell Ryan we said hello and we miss her. And I hope you have fun on the...
I definitely will.
I hope you have fun on Jukebox Live tonight.
And thank you for having me on.
No problem. Have a great night.
You too, honey.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jenna Ivory, ladies and gentlemen. Very cool having her on the show. Are you still there, Tony?
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Just chatting it up with the some of the fans, some of the listeners.
Chatting in the chat room. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. So you were distracted a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. You could say that. Sure.
I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Okay, do what? Take a break? We're gonna take a break or what? Do you want to take a break today or what?
Why would we? Well, I mean, we've gone through both of our guests. I feel as though, I mean, Josh was very gracious to do almost 45 minutes with us, but I still feel as though I rushed him off the phone. But I was instructed that Jenna was going to call in at 10 o'clock, and she actually called in, I think, like 5 of. And then I noticed that Danica called in, and I wanted to talk to Danica longer as well.
Yeah, I wanted to interrupt and say, boy, right away I was like, I'm out of a job.
I thought it was great that Danica called in. I haven't talked to her in a year, almost a year. Shortly after we got back from AVN's, maybe in March, I think it was. She took a break, and we haven't really talked. But it was great that she is going to be out this way, out in the Philadelphia way. So I'm kind of excited that she's going to be back out here, and I'll get a chance to see her and hang out.
Yeah, I'd like to think that's why she called, to plug her dates, but, you know, she probably just heard, you know, who's this new guy in the show, you know? I need to kick him out of there real quick. He's too good. I don't like him.
Yes, that's exactly where her thought process was.
Right?
That was what it was.
I'm so selfish. I think she's thinking of me.
Yeah, you think very highly of yourself. Not to say that you shouldn't. I mean, you have done a phenomenal job so far, other than... I mean, let me put it this way. You have done a very good job on the show. I'm not going to discount that. You have done a phenomenal job on the show. However, you seem to have what I call John-itis. And what I mean by that is you remind me very much of my very first co-host and very dear friend, John, who I started this podcast with. And the reason why I say that is not a bad thing necessarily. But what John used to do, the way he...
You hear that, John? He's talking shit about you.
I'm not. And I'm in the man's wedding. So, I mean, we're very close. But I'm not talking shit about him at all. But John was very much somebody I could talk to on the air, in between guests or before guests or after guests. And it was great having him there to be able to, you know, toss shit back and forth, to be able to banter with, talk about, you know, what's going on in our lives, that type of shit. And then when I would have a guest on the show, John would shut up. And I would ask John, you know, what the fuck, man? I felt like I wasn't giving you an opportunity to talk. Did you have any questions that you wanted to get out? What was going on? And he would often say to me, no, man, you were just fucking, you were flying with the fucking interview. You were rocking it, and I didn't want to interrupt. And I always kind of felt bad about that, like I was hoarding the interview. But you have since told me the same fucking thing. So now it's either a sadistic pattern that I've created, or there's something going on. I refuse to believe that I'm halfway decent at fucking interviews, because honestly, in my own opinion, it could be my own self-deprecation, but I don't think that I'm as good as fucking you and John seem to keep thinking or trying to make me believe that I am. So I'm totally discounting that right off the top.
See, here's the thing. You've been doing the show for 5 years. You started it with John, and you've had, you know, different co-hosts, whatever, in that time. I think that I'm doing exactly what I should, because number one, that Josh Robert Thompson interview was fucking amazing.
Well, thank you, my friend.
As far as for me, because I've honestly never watched the show. It shows how much research I do when I do this show. But I think the listeners will agree, man. I learned enough from your questions and him answering them, from what you asked about him and the show, and, you know, his new project and kind of the history about him. You know, he's from Ohio, things like that. I'm from Ohio. And that's the thing, too. It's like, all right, he said he was from Ohio. What am I going to do? Interject and be like, oh, I'm from Ohio, too.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Honestly, that's what I think. I thought maybe you guys would bond over that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm from Cleveland. All right, that sucks. Yeah, I know. All right, moving along. I mean, that would be the sum of the conversation, and I know my place, where to not, interject because that would just be redundant for the listeners.
I don't think that you should feel that way at all. I think that you have a valuable place on the show, and that if you want to interject, you should interject. I think that your questions are just as valid as mine. Yeah, I've been doing this for a little while, but I think that if you have a question, it's no less valid than any question I'm going to ask, or any question that any listener that wants to call the show might have to ask, or something like that. So,
well, when you number one, when you get a guest that I have enough time to do my research on,
right,
to cultivate said questions, or that I already know a lot about, and plus, I mean, I don't know John, but I honestly, while I was listening to you talk to Josh, I was listening like a regular listener, and again, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, and I'm sure Fear is going to destroy me right now for doing so, but fine. But I'm sure Fear and Big A, they're still here, and I'm sure they would agree, that was a great interview, and I was just listening, to be honest. I was, you hate doing show references, but, there's times I keep saying, I am faux hip-hop, aren't I? Dog, There's times on O&A where, they'll be like, Jimmy, you got something to ask? He's like, no, I'm just listening to the interview. It's a great interview. I'm just listening.
Right.
So.
Well, I noticed that there were actually fans of the Late Late Show in the chat room tonight. One of them being Ass Mode, which is a show reference for those of you that have never seen this show. And just some of the hashtags he was throwing out. Hashtag I'm still here, which of course I referenced, that Josh puts out, that he's still there. Not only that he is still relevant and still out there doing shit, but that was, of course, a reference to when people would hang up the phone, one of the characters, when Craig would hang up the phone with one of the character would still be on the phone, and he'd say, I'm still here, even though the phone was hung up. So,
they're agreeing with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that there's people in there that
your
like it.
Self-esteem and your self-consciousness of you thinking that you're not good at interviewing needs to just actually, it needs to continue, because I think it's helping you do good interviews. I think if you got too cocky, you would start doing shitty interviews. So just keep thinking you suck at them and you'll be good.
You know what? Honestly, maybe that is the key to it. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I don't allow myself to get a big fucking head about it. I guess it could be.
I mean, yeah, because we talk. We talk during the week before the show.
Sure, absolutely.
And you behind the scenes, we'll give you a little behind the scenes.
A lot of what we talk about is, Jesus Christ, Tony, I know you're fucking busy. I know you have a job, but did you finish the fucking graphic for this week yet?
Or shit, or shit, I unplugged one cord, or it's not working now.
Yes.
Skype's not working.
Let me tear down the fourth wall. I was going to be doing this show in a different way last night, and or tonight, I should say, and I was going to be doing it in a way that was less than optimal, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't. To side note, I wish what would have happened, what you're about to say would have happened, because boy, would that have just been fun.
See, it would have been
so much more fun.
It would have been fun for you, insofar as
I could have talked more, because you would have not.
Well, insofar as Nero really, really enjoyed standing there playing his fiddle and watching Rome burn.
Exactly.
So there's that. Because if things had gone the way I viewed them in my head to go, as things were going last night, where I'm making contingency plan after contingency plan after contingency plan, and everything looks like it's going to go down in flames, because my co-host says, well, worst case scenario, we just don't do the fucking show this week. What? I spent 2 weeks trying to get this awesome fucking guest on the show in Josh Robert Thompson, and now we're just going to fucking not do the show. No, that's not happening. So, of course, I was freaking out. You were trying very hard to calm me down and talk me down off the ledge.
I'll tell the listeners that behind the scenes, if you're going to break the fourth wall, and it's been 5 years you've been doing this show, so they can know now. working with you in the short time that I have, it's.
Are you trying to say that's why I go through fucking co-hosts?
No.
It really is me.
No. That goes without saying, but
nice, thanks, asshole.
I mean, you go through a lot of things behind the scenes. You know, you booked Josh Robert Thompson on your own.
Yes.
And again, not to shun our talent bookers, which are amazing.
Publicists. Yes, they are.
Whatever.
Meredith and Lainey are a huge part of the backbone of this show, and we couldn't do it without them.
But yeah, you were. This show almost didn't happen. That's just where I'll leave it at.
Yes, this show 24 hours ago, less than 24 hours ago, 22 hours ago, was crashing and burning before my eyes, and I went to bed not knowing if this show was going to happen at all. So I was very, very nervous. And then things worked out in such a way that we were able to do it in a much more controlled environment. And even then, we had issues at the 0 hour. As I'm less than 8 o'clock, we're getting ready to start the show, and I'm doing my last minute audio checks and things of that nature, and Skype doesn't want to work, and the recording software wasn't working, the mixer wasn't interacting with the computer properly.
So for all of you who think podcasting is easy,
it's not.
To an extent, it is.
To be able to sit in front of a microphone and just ramble, yeah, that part of it's easy, but the tech aspect of it is not easy at all.
So, yeah, I suggest start your own show, get a call screener software, do what Brian does. Good luck. And do it all on a Windows computer. Then we'll see.
I appreciate you. Well, and Dr. Steve would agree with you that
who wouldn't?
That you really should do a Mac, because for the longest time he used a Mac, or he used a PC, and he then got this bug up his ass that he was going to go Mac. Everybody told him, go Mac, go Mac, go Mac. And he went Mac, and he swears he's never going to go back again. And you know what? I may reach that point someday, but right now, I still really enjoy fucking, the PC. I really don't like Apple products at all. And they're never going to be a fucking sponsor on this show, so I don't have to worry about it. But I'm not a big fan of fucking Apple products. So maybe one day I may crumble and decide that, fine, I'll use Apple products at least for the show, but for my own personal use, I'm still going to continue to be a PC guy. I don't know. I may sit down in front of a Mac and decide, wow, this is fucking awesome. I can't imagine going back to PC, but I just don't see that happening.
You will.
I've used Dr. Steve's Mac before when I was at his studio.
What kind of files did you find on there?
There was lots of fluid, yes. Actually, you know what? I have a drop that I want to play, speaking of Dr. Steve. But I was at the studio, the Weird Medicine Studios, and I played with his Mac, and there was definitely a huge disconnect there as far as what I was used to and what I was able to do, what I thought it should do, and what I was able to get it to do. And I didn't like it because it was like I was starting all over again as far as being able to use a computer. And I didn't like that at all.
That goes with age, though. I mean, my aunt, she's almost in her 60s, and she only uses Apple products. She has an iPhone. She has the newest iPhone. Again, she's almost in her 60s, so I mean, if she can do it, you can do it.
I suppose. I mean, it's going to take some learning.
Like change. You don't like change. We know that.
I don't like change. You're absolutely right. I don't like change. And my wife would be the first one to agree with you. I don't like change. It's scary. There's a comfortability to being able to use the PC, and I don't like change. You're absolutely right.
You've been doing it for 5 years again on the PCs. I'd hope not the same PC you have now.
No. I've gone through 2 or 3 PCs since then. But This, of course, was what I was looking for. That in reference to Dr. Steve.
My favorite cock pill is.
Fucking DJ Rock and Ron sent that to me, and I appreciate it. He got that as an audio grab out of the Weird Medicine, one of the few Weird Medicine shows back. He actually said that.
Speaking of Dr. Steve.
Yes, our good pal Dr. Steve.
I don't know if he's talked about it. I thought he did the whole Lady Trucker thing that I mentioned last week.
Yes.
I mean, she actually reached out to me.
Yes, I saw that Lady Trucker. For those of you that don't know what's going on, let me bring this up briefly. Weird Medicine has recently learned that Lady Trucker, who called the show during the Colin Quinn show, she's actually called our show quite a few times, but she's a fan of the Opie and Anthony show, and she called the show during the Colin Quinn show as Jill. And she is recently single, and she's looking to mingle, I guess. She's looking for some cock, basically. She's looking to get laid. She is a lady trucker. She's out there over the road very frequently. That's her primary source of income. And she's looking to get laid. It's been a while. And Dr. Steve came up with the idea of doing the Weird Medicine Lady Trucker dating game.
She's legitimately trying to get some dick.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think there's no bit about it. Like,
no.
There's no bit.
No. This definitely is not a bit whatsoever.
She really
wants to get some fucking cock in her punani. So,
So I had mentioned last week that after listening to that show, that I would be willing.
You mentioned on this show, yes.
So yes, that I would be willing to do the so-called dating game on Dr. Steve's show.
For the bit.
I would be. Yes, exactly. I would be willing to be a participant in that bit on the show.
Yes, and I did mention that to him.
Fear is fucking disgusting.
I didn't. What?
Fear is just killing it in the chat room right now. Hey, Tony, didn't you say you wanted to lick her fupa after a week-long haul?
Oh, Fear. You are nasty.
And actually, that makes it even grosser because if you listen to Anthony's show, AnthonyCumia.com,
nice plug.
I think it was either her or somebody who re-edited her into the most offensive song contest. The whole song was about Anthony smelling her truck seat, which again, that just Fear saying that, and that thing just puts a disgusting smell and picture in my head. But
I'm looking to see if I can find a picture of what Lady Trucker actually looks like.
I hope.
I know I've seen pictures of her on the internet before. I'm just looking to see if I can find an actual picture of her, because just to give people a perspective, she's not a slim woman.
I'll tweet her right now.
You want to tweet her and see if she's up? Maybe she can call the show.
She's probably driving right now, hopefully off a cliff.
Jesus, Tony. She has called shows before while she's driving. She calls Opie and Anthony all the time, or the Opie and Jimmy show all the time while she's driving.
She's a delight. She's not, no, really. She's a delight. I do truly like when she calls because number one, Anthony is just totally disgusted, but it just destroys her verbally.
Yes.
And she plays along. And but I said I would be I would participate in the dating game, and that offer is still again on the table. I would love to do it. I think it'd be a real hoot, and I think it could bring some, again, fresh, young, kind of something that probably isn't in her realm of ever getting for the game.
The odds of her getting 26-year-old cock, honestly,
very slim.
Very, very slim. I would say almost
slim is not a word that ever comes up when you bring her name up.
I would say almost non-existent.
Yes. But by the way, so back to what we were talking about, she tweeted me and she goes, "Hi Tony," and then she said "@WoodFloorlicker," which is weird.
Right.
Mentioned you on Weird Medicine podcast recording today, and I said, woohoo, what's up, LT? She said, checking out the January 22nd show to hear your voice, which, to me, is...
Which, of course, was the Colin Quinn episode.
Yes. Which, to me, immediately, I think it was... What time was it? It was later. It was later in the night. It was about midnight, and I'm kind of sitting at home alone, and I go, Lady Trucker's probably driving in a truck alone, checking out my voice. Which I don't feel comfortable with at all.
That made you feel uncomfortable?
Yes, very. So I was kind of second guessing, and I heard her call in. She called in the Bobo show. If you ever listen, if you listen to Anthony Cumia's show, AnthonyCumia.com, and she dirty talked Bobo for probably 10 minutes, and I was second guessing my throwing my name to the hat. But okay. I'm still in. For the bit. Okay.
I'm going to throw this up here now. Let's see if I can do this here with minimal. I should be able to do that and then that. I have a picture here of Lady Trucker. We'll go to this here. So for those of you that are wondering what Lady Trucker looks like, that is what Lady Trucker looks like. If you look at
I can't see it because if I pull up the video feed... Actually, no, I can. I lied. Oh, no, we don't have video on. I don't want to see. I don't want to see it.
You've never seen what she looks like before?
Yeah, here, send me the link.
Oh, shit, now I closed the fucking... It's on our Twitter feed, but you're going to have to scroll down a ways. Let me see if I can pull it back up. It's interesting.
That's the best you can do. It's interesting.
I have a real problem speaking ill of people.
We're not speaking ill of her. It's something she's not heard before.
And she's... but just because it's not something she hasn't heard before doesn't mean it's right, though, Tony.
Really? Are you taking the high road right now?
I am taking the high road because you know what? And just because people think that because I'm an Opie and Anthony fan or they're an Opie and Anthony fan, it's okay to be shitty to other people. And it's, there's just some people that have a good heart and don't deserve shit like that. I'll be the first person to shit talk Bobo or somebody like that. But Big A goes through a lot of shit for his lisps. Lady Trucker, for the most part, is a really, a decent human being. I have no problems with Lady Trucker. Lady Di, on the other hand, I hope Lady Di does die.
See, that's where you can't go on one side and then go.
I can because Lady Trucker has done nothing.
Again, I'm not shitting on Lady Trucker. Again, I said she's the delight. I love when she calls into the shows. She's very entertaining. She has great one-liner jokes, and then she punches out and keeps driving. And again, if she did pick me for the dating game, and if somehow that could happen where we actually go on a date, I would totally do it.
I'm DMing you a picture on Twitter. But
I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom real quick. Hopefully it's of you. That's what I was expecting.
No, it's not of me.
To call back to K-jokes.
It just... There's people that just don't deserve to be shit on, and I think she's one of them. That's all.
Nobody's shitting on her. See? Oh, no, I've seen that picture before.
Yeah. She's taking a selfie in the mirror with an Anthony Cumia show shirt on.
See, she reminds me of a mother figure.
Yes, very much.
That's not an insult. I'm not insulting her. I wish she was awake and not sleeping in the cab of her truck right now to talk to us, but...
it is late.
Late show. Get it? Anyways. So, yeah, I'm just...
Be glad you're not in front of me right now. I really want to smash your face for that.
I was in front of you. No one standing behind you could see me.
Asshole. I guess
so, yeah.
let's do this, I guess.
Fear, by the way. Laugh my ass off. You made her suspension seat moist.
I wish I had the...
Do some research in quotations. Oh, Josh Robert Thompson, really, that was a good hashtag. Research is now a thing. I want that to be a thing. Research is now just jerking off. I don't know if you followed that in the chat room, but referring to jerking off as research.
Of course, it's research. That's what research is.
Josh, he said he did some research on Jenna Ivory, and everybody caught on to that.
Gotcha.
Fear caught on to it. So did I think Asmode too. Asmode started that, whoever that was. So.
Yeah, Asmode is a Craig Ferguson fan because that is a show reference, if you will. As a fan of the show that I am, I know that that's a show reference.
Big A's still listening, by the way, and he hasn't really.
See, that's the other thing too. You know, Big A's a cool, and I've said this to his face, so it's not like I'm trying to fucking kiss ass. Big A is a cool guy. Big A and I have been friends for a long time. Big A's helped me out with a lot of different things. I've helped him out with some things. He's the original person that coined the phrase that I'm a coattail rider. So,
and a genius he is for coining that.
Absolutely. He is absolutely correct, and it's paid off for me in spades. So you know what? Fuck everybody. Being a coattail rider fucking pays off.
It does, I agree.
And I've parlayed that into fucking hanging on to other coattails and other coattails and other coattails, and it's like climbing a ladder.
And now I'm hanging onto your coattails, so...
Exactly right. So there's nothing wrong with being a coattail rider. But I will say that, you know, even Andrew goes through his shit. Andrew's got a speech impediment where he stutters with ST words when you're talking to him. And I'll be the first person to admit that there's some times where it's, I'm sure, very painful for him to try and communicate to other people because he's constantly getting caught up. And, you know, sometimes it's difficult to understand what he's saying. That doesn't mean he's a bad person or that he needs to be, you know, paraded around like some sort of freak show. He's a very, very nice guy. He's a good personal friend of mine. And it bothers me sometimes when... And I understand that, you know,
I think a lot of these people. I think I understand what you're getting at, but I think
understand
a lot of
I understand that Anthony gets the bit, and that Andrew gets the bit, and he's not offended when Opie and Anthony do that kind of stuff to him. I get that, and he has been well taken care of. You know, they've helped him out with going to shows and stuff for free, and you know, Jimmy has put him in commercials for different things, or you know, done things of that nature. I get that he has gotten to do a bunch of cool shit because of his participation and fame on the Opie and Anthony show, and he has garnered a certain amount of fame because of his position on the Opie and Anthony show as a freak show member, basically.
Well, what you're getting at is that you don't like that I'm somehow bad-mouthing Lady Trucker. Is that what you're getting at?
I think that she, of the group, is not a horrible person. Now, if you were to sit there and bash Bobo, I'd fucking sit there and probably bash Bobo with you.
Exactly.
Honestly,
so when did I call her a bad? When did I imply that she was a bad person in my eyes, or that when did I make her?
You said she's a train wreck.
Oh, she's a truck wreck. She drives a truck.
You said hopefully she's driving off a cliff. I mean, I get all the jokes that everybody says. I get it. And she takes it in stride as well. And I get that, you know, a lot of it she probably just blows off. But she doesn't deserve that kind of shit all the time. Once in a while, all right,
you're getting soft. You're getting soft with age, I think.
That could possibly be. You know what, though? And I'm going to get a little bit real here for a second. I was somebody in my younger years who... I'm not going to say a bobo, but I was made fun of when I was a kid. I've always been a bigger guy. I was born with red hair. That combination did not sit well with other kids. So for that reason, maybe I am more sympathetic to bullying and that kind of shit. But I just think, you know, yeah, all right, we all make jokes and shit like that, and every once in a while, okay, fine. As long as the person's not upset by it, and they're in on the joke and they're fine with it, all right, fine, I can see that. I mean, you and I tell you you're gay all the time. I don't seriously think that you're gay, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with it if you were.
That hurts me.
Bullshit, it hurts you.
Exactly my point. You fucking hypocrite. It's all jokes. It's all fucking jokes.
Right, I understand that. And I know that Big A understands that it's all a joke. And I know Lady Trucker understands that it's all a joke. But at some point, perhaps, and I'm not saying that there is, but perhaps there might come a day where they're like, all these fucking people did was make fun of me for fucking 10, 20 years.
See, and then Fear's saying stuff like, he loves Big A and Stalker Patty, which, again, I do.
I do as well. Stalker Patty has her place. Let me put that out there.
But then, this is just classic O&A fan. Bobo and Lady Di can both die in a fire, and I don't care.
Let me rephrase this. Maybe this will shed some light into what I'm talking about. Lady Di is self-sufficient. I mean, I'm sorry. Lady Trucker.
What?
Lady Trucker is self-sufficient. She has a job. She's a productive member of society. She works for a living. She takes care of herself. She doesn't take handouts from other people.
No, she's newly on the market. I mean, that's amazing. That's
Okay.
great for a lot of people who are unhappy. She's going to be a very happy person.
Andrew, for example, very productive member of society. He works for a living. He drives a livery car. He goes and hangs out with his friends, plays poker at the compound. He's done amazing things because of his appearances on the Opie and Anthony show. I'm not taking any of that away from him. Then, even Patty. Well, you know what? Let me hold off on Patty. There has been... let me just put Lady Trucker and Andrew in one side. Then there's people like Bobo. Bobo, I understand, has a birth defect. He's a little bit slow. He doesn't understand things as well as everybody else does necessarily. I get that. I do. And some things are out of his control. But common sense is something that he lacks in spades. And you would think even with a developmental disability, he would understand certain things and he would get that, to bug somebody constantly on Twitter is not a good thing. Especially after he's been told and told and told and told and told to fucking knock it off. Then you've got Lady Di, who, Opie had this huge thing when Lady Di was an intern at the show, and Sam has tried to help her out. Now, Sam stirs the pot a lot, too. I love Sam, but one of the great things that he brings to the show is the fact that he's a shit stirrer. And, Opie loves to see a good train wreck, even though deep down, the actor that plays Opie, Greg Hughes, has a heart of gold and wants to truly help out those that he can help out. And he's given her opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to, make money and be a productive member of society. She used to work for Budweiser, for Christ's sake, and she did have a job. But alcoholism has taken such a huge grip on her that she lost her place of residence. She was living homeless for a while. Then she met up with this guy named Bill, and she had some sort of weird situation with him where she was living with him, but she was drinking every day. And then Bill kind of was an alcoholic also and was enabling her. And Bill passed away, and now she's going to be homeless again shortly probably. And she doesn't know how she's going to pay her rent. And now she's got a boyfriend, and she doesn't help herself. She hasn't hit that rock bottom yet where she's willing to help herself or take somebody else's help and use it productively. So I have a problem with people who, and the same could be said for Stalker Patty. There's a few personal instances where Patty has pissed me off where she doesn't plan ahead for shit and expects other people to help her out just because she's Stalker Patty. And you know what? If she approached things in a different way, I don't think people would have a problem helping her out. But it's the way she does it. And she doesn't beg for help. She's not out there constantly going, oh, help me, oh, help me, oh, help me. And every 5 minutes she's asking for more and more and more. She does work now. She's gotten back on her feet. There was a time where she was, not doing so good financially, but She has done better now.
Okay.
But there's people, the people that want to help themselves and take care of themselves and are productive members of society, like a Pat from Moonaki or a Lady Trucker or a Big A. I have no problem with those people. I like those people. But I think that people that Bobo and Lady Di and things, they have, I suppose, less of my sympathy because they bring it upon themselves. So I think that if they're not bringing it upon themselves, there's no reason to fucking hammer it home constantly, even though we all know it's a bit. You know what I mean?
I understand. I think the whole recent Bobo kind of Big A controversy is getting you a little riled up. And I understand because I'm totally on Big A's side.
Because Big A's a friend of mine, and I don't like to see him mistreated. And I understand he doesn't view it as mistreatment, but I kind of view it as mistreatment, even if he doesn't.
I'm totally on Big A's side. I've been following the controversy. I'm totally on Big A. I'm totally on your side. I don't think Bobo was coerced at all. I think he was completely legitimate in what he said. I don't think he was acting. He's a terrible liar, number one. I'm totally on Big A's side. I think, I would agree that I think it's gotten to you a little bit, and I totally understand. You're defending your friend, and I hope to be Big A's friend one day.
You're kind of new to the community. I mean, as a fan of the Opie and Anthony show, it does, and I'm not saying this to embarrass you. I'm saying this because I really think it's kind of like cool to watch. You're new to the O&A fan community, and even people like Big A or Pat from Moonaki or Lady Trucker, the chance to meet those characters from the show even excites you. Like people that I call friends now at this point because I've been in the community for so long, I look at them as friends. I don't call Big A Big A. Anytime I talk to him, I call him Andrew. Because
we just talked about that recently. Whereas you know, I'm going to continue to call him Big A until I know him on a first name basis. You know him on a first name basis.
Right. So I think it's cool to watch your introduction to the community and the fact that you get excited that, I'm going to get a chance to meet Big A, or I'm going to get a chance to meet Lady Trucker, or I'm going to get a chance to meet Dr. Steve, or something like that. People that I call personal friends.
That's where this started. Yeah. I've been a big fan of the show for a very long time. And again, this is the Radio Freaks. This isn't, an O&A.
Right. And I apologize because that's one of the things that bothers me the most is kind of being an Opie and Anthony show. Yeah, this is not an Opie and Anthony spin-off show. It's something that I try not to do, and I apologize because I try and separate ourselves from that show. I love that show with all my heart, and it's a great show, and I always will be a fan of that show. But I don't want this to piggyback off of their success. I want it to stand on its own 2 feet.
Lately we've been kind of, we've been going back and forth a little bit, so it only makes sense that we kind of. We talked to Josh Robert Thompson, which is amazing. We talked to Jenna Ivory, which is amazing. And then, the last few weeks have been, the Colin Gate, the Lady Di thing. I mean,
it's all your fault. This has all started since you came on the show, motherfucker.
It's all been great press, and we're getting a lot of new listeners and new people following us, and the new website. And things are going great, man. So. I'm really excited kind of to see. I'm trying to keep it going, So and this is all genuine. It's not.
Please don't feel like this is a personal attack because honestly, you have brought a tremendous amount to the show yourself. Right. You did an amazing job with the brand new website, and I'm so excited about it and the possibilities of the things that we can do to even continue to help improve the website, even from what it is now. Really excites me. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you on different projects. So don't think I'm trying to, usher you out the door because I'm not. But, I think that, these types of things, when they come up, I do. I get on a rant and take them personally just because shit like that bothers me. Will it bother me next week? Probably not. It may not. I don't know. Or it may. It's just kind of one of those things, especially we don't do show prep really on this show. I mean, we do show prep insofar as we do guest research, I would say, is the show prep that we do. Okay. But I don't do, at, 10:59, at 9:59 we're going to go to break and we're going to come back at 10:03 and we're going to, I don't know ahead of time what time we're going to break. I don't know what spots I'm going to put in during the break. I don't know any of that shit. I know roughly what I'm going to do because I do the same thing pretty much every week. But the majority of the research I do on the show, and that, of course, is pictures of people that we are going to have on the show and research on the guests themselves. Outside of that, this show is completely unscripted. And that's something, honestly, to do a nice throwback this evening and tie this show up with a nice little bow, is something I learned from Opie and Anthony and from Craig Ferguson. They never did a scripted show, any of those two shows. And I think that that's more real and something that more people want to listen to. So that's why, you and I have talked about this behind the scenes to break the fourth wall again, about doing show prep. But I think that there's a realism to not doing show prep. And, if we get hung up because we didn't do show prep and we have to sit here and come up with something to talk about, I think that that's more interesting. I think that uncomfortability I learned from Opie and Anthony, that uncomfortability is something to celebrate, to explore. So
we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're all very uncomfortable.
We, of course, thanked Josh Robert Thompson on Twitter for being on the show tonight. And I guess
honestly, dude, he was amazing.
He was. And, he absolutely was amazing.
Even though I didn't actually talk to him, I'm going to guess he might listen to this again. If not, dude, great interview. Fear, Big A, anybody else who listens, wow.
Yeah. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and please definitely give us some feedback on it. I thanked Josh for coming on the show, as I always do on Twitter with our guests, and he tweeted us back and said, thanks, guys. Had a great time on the show tonight, and please burn that old picture of me. So,
my bad.
Yes, nice callback. Another one in the books, my friend, and all of my freaking out was for nothing.
Good? Feel good to get that out?
Yes, it does feel good to get all that out. Follow our new good friend Josh Robert Thompson on Twitter at Josh R. Thompson on Twitter. Check out his website, jrtvoices.com, for information on the Joshin' Around podcast, which you can check out on iTunes, and his new Josh Robert Thompson show that should be coming out rather shortly. And also the tour information, which you can find if you're in Greensboro, North Carolina. He'll be there tomorrow night at the Carolina Theater. Norfolk, Virginia, he's heading to on February 6th, which is Friday, at the Harrison Opera House. February 7th on Saturday at the Warner Theater in D.C. Sunday, February 8th, Meyerhoff Symphony Hall in Baltimore, Maryland. He's working his way up the East Coast. He'll hit Jersey on Monday, February 9th, at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, New Jersey. Tuesday, February 10th, he'll be at the Whitaker Center in Harrisburg, PA. Wednesday, February 11th, Miriam Theater in Bethlehem, PA. And then, of course, Thursday, February 12th, and Wednesday, March 4th, at the Kimmel Center right here in Philadelphia, before he continues on to Connecticut, Boston, Canada. Then they fly out to the West Coast. They do Santa Rosa, California, San Francisco, Reno, Temecula. Check jrtvoices.com for more information and tour dates. And we thank Josh for coming on the show tonight. We also thank Jenna Ivory for being on the show tonight. You can check her out tonight on Playboy TV's Jukebox Live. For more information, go to playboytv.com/late-night/#Jukebox Live. She'll be on that with the beautiful Ryan Keeley. And you can check out Jenna's new anal scene at Brazzers.com. I don't know why I say Brazzers. I think bra. But Brazzers.com. You can follow her Facebook.com/Jenna Ivory Official, Twitter.com/Jenna Ivory XXX, Instagram.com/The Jenna Ivory. So, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight, folks. Check us
Lady
out.
Trucker.
Lady Trucker, he's serious. He wants to do this.
I did not. I hope I didn't insult you. I don't know. Brian seems to think I did, but
she'll tell you that you didn't insult her. I'm sure she will. But I don't want anybody thinking that we want to take advantage of her, because we don't. Of course.
Yeah, I'll take whatever, if you know what I'm saying. But.
Yeah, I mean, she's for sure hoping that you're going to take advantage of her. Give her the deep dicking she deserves.
It won't be that deep.
So.
I'll take it.
Well, you know, there's one thing I've learned about being a fat, redheaded Irishman is it's not all about the cock. So, just throwing that out there. There's other ways to please women that they enjoy even more than that. They don't call me the wood floor licker for nothing, son. Just throwing that out there.
Maybe we could talk in private about that, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're injuring your tongue way too often, and we gotta fix that. Little inside joke there.
They get the gist.
Check us out right here, RadioFreaks.tv, next week for more fun and excitement. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/TheRadioFreaks, Facebook, facebook.com/TheRadioFreaks. And we'll catch you right back here next week. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Be there! Until then, see ya!